Good afternoon, everyone. So, the topic for our discussion today, the reading of the text, Sudraka's Mrichchhakatika. So, we will commence our reading of the text from where we left last day. So, this is Act 1 of Sudraka's play, Mrichchhakatika. So, we have seen in the first act of the play, the initiation of the play with the benediction that is offered to Lord Shiva. After the benediction, there is a short description of the play and then the playwright. The important themes are also exposed by Sutradhar. And Sutradhar, along with the Noti, they start developing the play. They talk about the characters. They also discuss some silly issues and create the ambience for the theatrical performance. The sthapana, the main installation of the play, is done through the conversation between Sudraka and between the Sutradhar and the Noti. After that, the episode begins. In the first section, we have seen how Charudatta and Vidushaka, Maitri, they discuss their contemporary situation. We have seen Charudatta fallen from a state of affluence to a state of misery at present. He is a Brahmin merchant who is now seeing his bad days. And he has also fallen in love with Vasantasena. Vasantasena is also a leading courtesan of that period. The setting of the play is Ujjain, located around 2nd century AD. So this play then moves away from the house of Charudatta and focuses on the street scene, where we find Vasantasena being chased by Vita, Cheta, and Sakara. Sakara is the brother-in-law of the king of the land, King Palaka. Somehow Vasantasena escapes the chase, and then we have this scene where Vidushaka and Charudatta, they are discussing among themselves as Vasantasena walking few steps and feeling by the hand. Lo, here do I feel the wall of the house, and here is a side entrance. I understand also by the tactual perception, as my fingers tell me, that this entrance of the house is closed. Much of the stage properties are therefore created through the dialogues. And Vasantasena's dialogues reveal that she has come into the house. And here we find Charudatta and Vidushaka, they are in their house discussing. Friend, I have finished my meditation. Therefore, go presently and present the offering to the Divine Mothers. Vidushaka says, no, sir, I shall not go. Charudatta, alas, unfortunate I am. On account of a man's poverty, his relatives do not act to his words. Even his intimate friends turn away from him. His miseries multiply. His vitality declines. The luster of his moon-like character fades, and every sinful act, even though committed by others, is ascribed to him. These words of Charudatta show the journey of a man through various vicissitudes of life, various stages of life. Especially when a man is stuck with poverty, we find that this man is abandoned. The relatives do not help him. Even the friends turn against him. And gradually, the miseries of this young man or this poor man increases. Gradually, because of this, the vitality also declines, and even the appearance of the character gradually fades. The sinful act, although these are committed by others, these are all ascribed to him. So he is at the receiving end of social abuse. None ever keeps company with him, nor does any speak of to him with due respect. This is the fall of a person from grace to misfortune. So Charudatta presents himself as that person who was once an honorable man because he was wealthy. Now he has become a poor Brahmin merchant, and therefore no one keeps company with him, even no one does speak to him with due respect. He is looked at with contempt, anger, disgrace, disgust when he comes to the house of the rich during festivals. Being poorly clad, he avoids the opulent even at a distance on account of shame. So the richness are avoided by this poor man because of his dress. Really, I consider poverty as another and the sixth heinous crime. So poverty, according to Charudatta, is a state of human misery, and therefore it is also a state of existence that is converging to the state of criminality. Being poor is a kind of social shame. Oh poverty, I pity you. See the use of exclamation mark and another use of alamkar, where the abstract thing like poverty has been personified. In English rhetoric, we call this personification. So here personification of poverty is done, and there is an apostrophe address made to the abstract phenomenon called poverty. So Charudatta addresses poverty. Oh poverty, I pity you, and my anxiety is as to whither thou, after having dwelt thus in my frame of a friend, will go when my ill-fated body is consumed. So Vidushaka Maitri, with a sense of shame, says, well, friend, if I am to go, then let this Radhanika go with me to keep me company. So Radhanika is a household maid. Charudatta says, okay, Madanika, go accompany him. So Cheti says, so Madanika is a Cheti. She says, yes, sir, I will. So Vidushaka says, Vardhi Radhanika, do you take the offering as well as the lamp, while I shall unfasten the side door? So he does so. There is no solid stage properties on the stage. Okay, in Sanskrit drama, usually the curtains were used on the stage. And so through action, through mudras, angikas, vachika, the actors represent the state of things that are there. The stage properties are described through these three modes. So one is mudra, action. The second is vachika, the speech. And then the angika, the entire movement of the body. So gestures, movement, and speech, all these combine together in order to create the setting or the space. So he does so. He unfastens the side door. In modern drama, however, we have solid props, even in Sanskrit drama. Three-dimensional properties are used on the stage. Artificial houses are built on the stage. So Vasantasena is there. Vasantasena is on the one corner of this house and hiding herself in darkness. She says, the private entrance is laid open as if it were out of compassion for me. I shall now get in. So as Vidushaka is opening the door, Vasantasena got this chance to creep inside. I shall go get in. Looking in, alas, alas, a light. So she puts out the light with the shirt of her garment and enters. Charudatta says, Maitri, what was that? So sound heard by Charudatta is responding to the sound. Vidushaka says, the lamp has been blown out by the wind that rushed in a lump when the side door was open. Radhanika, go out yourself by the side door. I shall just step in the house and light the lamp from the quadrangular interior courtyard and will be with you again immediately. So we have seen the characters like Sakara, Vita, Cheta, they are waiting outside, servants, they are waiting outside, searching for Vasantasena. And Vasantasena has somehow crept inside the house of Charudatta. Radhanika has been instructed to leave this house through another door, and she will be coming to the street. So Sakara, they are searching for a girl, for a woman, and Radhanika is one who is coming out of the house. So there will be mistaken identity. Mistaken identity is a device that has been used in this play throughout. The entire play contains so many mistakes committed because of identities, mistaken identity. We call this as a device. Someone is confused for other. So here again, Radhonika will be confused and they will think that this is Vasantasena. Sakara, friend, I am looking for Vasantasena. Vita, keep on seeking, seeking. Sakara so doing. Friend, I have caught her. So Sakara has caught someone. Okay. So this is mistaken identity. So whom do you think he has caught? It must be, yeah, Vasantasena has already gone inside the house. So it must be Radhonika. So friend, I have caught her. Vita says, idiot, is it I that you have caught? Sakara, remain silent, staying at the very same place, searching again and sieging the Cheta. Okay. Friend, she is caught. She is caught. Cheta master says, Master, it is your servant that you have caught, a wrong person you have caught. So in this darkness, they are playing on tricks. This is called situational comedy. So inventive plot of a prakaran, Sanskrit prakaran, Dasarupaka, a form called prakaran, contains such situational action or comedy. So Cheta says, Master, it is I, your servant, that you have caught. Sakara says, here, friend, here, Cheta. Stay now, both of you, where you are, where stationed. Searches again and now seizes Radhanika by the hair. Friend, now is caught Vasantasena. Now she is caught. So once the hair is caught, he can identify. Oh, she who ran away in darkness, but was betrayed by the fragrance of her garland, is grasped now by her locks of hair, as Draupadi was caught by Chanakya. Who is this Chanakya? Chanakya, we remember, Mauryan, okay, during the early days of Mauryan Empire, so 4th, 5th century BC, we have this presence of Chanakya related to Chandragupta Maurya. And then Chanakya, who had his education in Takshila, who also is credited to have written the famous book called the Arthashastra. So that Chanakya is not related to Draupadi in any way. So there is, again, like previous scenes, great confusion. So Draupadi was caught by Dusyasana, by the hair lock, in the famous scene of dice. Game of dice is played in Mahabharata, and there, after the Pandava brothers lose everything, they also lose Draupadi, and Draupadi is brought on the court, onto the court, and there the disrobing of Draupadi takes place. And there we have Dushashana, but instead of Dushashana, here he is referring to Chanakya. So again, mistaken identity in the words, also in the action. So double irony is played on, and audience will definitely laugh. First of all, he has caught a wrong person. Second, he is referring to another person caught by another wrong person. Draupadi was caught by Dushashana, but he is talking about Chanakya catching Draupadi. Vita says, thou who art in pride of youth, going after a nobly born youth, art grasped by thy hair, which are rich with flowers, and which are worthy of being honored. So Sakara says, here you are seized by your delicate hair of the head. O young maiden, screams, quakes, quell, for Shambhu, Shiva, Shankara, or even Ishvara. Okay, call out. So God will come and save you. Call God by different names, Shambhu, Shiva, Shankara, Ishvara. Radhanika is terrified. So in terror, what this is? What does this mean? Why are you attacking me? So Vita says, oh, son of an unmarried woman, this is indeed another voice. So Sakara says, friend, just as a cat changes her tone when she wants to steal, is covetous of cream, so also has this slave and changed her voice. So he's thinking that he has caught Vasantasena, and Vasantasena has somehow changed her voice. So Vita says, change her voice, strange, and yet it is possible. Is it possible? She has disguised her voice as she is clever in practicing deception. Being well versed in arts, Chausat Kala, during that period, Vasantasena is an expert in all the forms of arts, performing arts. So being well versed in arts and conversant with theatrical performance. So we have a direct reference to theatrical performance. Courtesan used to perform in some court sessions, and these were called theatrical performances during that period. Vidushaka enters and says, "Wonderful, the flame of the lamp flutters very much in the gentle evening breeze, like the heart of a goat that is brought near a sacrificial post." Again, the use of a simile. Simile is a figure of speech where we have two ideas, two objects compared. Here, the flame of the lamp is compared with the heart of a goat that is brought near the sacrificial post. So, through this comparison, we find an excellent use of alamkara in the play. So, alamkara is a figurative device that in Sanskrit literature was extensively used. Kalidasa's Meghadutam contains elaborate similes to describe the cloud and the rain. Sakara says, "Friend, friend." So now he approaches and discovers Radhanika. "Radhanika?" Sakara says, "Friend, friend, a man, a man." So Vidushaka says, "Is it not proper? It is not becoming at all that strangers should intrude on the abode of Vardhi Charudatta just because he has become poor now." Radhanika says, "Vardhi Maitreya, look at the insult that is done to me." Maitreya is very angry. "What? Insult done to you? No, 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 it is an insult done to us." So verify it is an insult done to yourself. So Vidushaka, but they are not using violence. Radhanika says, "Yes, yes, really, really." Vidushaka now raising his staff angrily. "Sir, this won't do. Its own abode, even a dog is very fierce, and much more a Brahman as I am. With this club of mine, stick of mine, that is crooked like the fortunes of persons like us, I shall batter your head, a villain, as if it is where the head of a dry bamboo." So he says that I will hit you with my stick. Vita says, "Have mercy, O great Brahman, have mercy, don't beat us." Vidushaka discovering Vita, "This man is not the sinner." Now discovering Sakara, "Indeed, this is the sinner. Hey, wretched brother-in-law of the king, Sanstanaka." So King Sanstanaka, you scoundrel. Sakara's other name is Sanstanaka. Okay, Sanstanaka, another name of Sakara. "Sanstanaka, you scoundrel, you villain, this is perfectly proper. Isn't it so? Though perhaps it may be that the respectable and worthy Charudatta has become poor, yet are not his virtues an ornament to Ujjain? And so his house is intruded upon, and an insult like this is done to his attendants. Insult not a man because he is in adverse circumstances. Really none are counted poor by fate. On the other hand, a man who is destitute of virtue, even the rich, is alone really poor." Throughout the play, we find that the play is serving the didactic purpose, while it is also communicating to the audience the bhava and the rasa, as well as the storyline along with characters. It is also communicating morals. So this is a twofold purpose of Sanskrit drama: didactic purpose. One, to teach and educate the audience. Number two, to entertain the audience with rasa and bhava. So rasa is the depiction of the emotion pertaining to the three loka, and natak is also a depiction pertaining to the emotion and sentiments, rasa and bhava, of the three lokas. So Vita says, betraying his man, "Have mercy, O great Brahman, have mercy. Really, this has been done not through insolence, but because we mistook her for someone else. For actually, we are seeking for an amorous maiden." The status of courtesan in the society was not so respectable during that period. They were called amorous, lusty. Okay, so waylaid females, wild females. So we are seeking for an amorous maiden. Vidushaka says, "What? This one?" He says, "Heaven forbid. not one who is the mistress of her youth. She slipped away, and mistaking this lady for her, we committed this unintentional indecorum. So, violation of morality. So, please accept this, all in all, of humble supplication. He drops his sword and with his folded hand falls at the feet of Vidushaka. Vidushaka says, okay, good man, rise, rise. In ignorance, you were reviled by me. Now that I know you, I ask your pardon. Vita says, really speaking, it is you that must be conciliated in this case. I will get up and then on condition. Vidushaka says, speak out, sir, that you will not tell Charudatta what has happened here. Vidushaka says, I shall not tell. O Brahman, this favors of yours is respectfully borne on the head by me. Or even though armed, we are completely conquered with weapons of excellent virtues. So Sakara is now angry man. Sakara says, what? For, my friend? Did you fall at the feet of this wicked fellow, making him a cringing salutation? Vita says, I was afraid. What? Were you afraid of? So Vita says, of the excellent virtues of the famous Charudatta. External characterization, we understand who Charudatta is, what type of person is Charudatta. So Vita says, of the excellent virtues of the famous Charudatta. Sakara, you remember Sakara is not liking this person Charudatta because Charudatta is more attractive for Vasantasena. Sakara says, what are these virtues to him? Entering whose house, even something to eat is not to be found? A person who is poor, how can that poor man be virtuous? Vita says, no, no, he has become impoverished because of his acts of charity and kindness done to person like ourselves. And none was despised by him when in his prosperity. So everyone liked Charudatta, and Charudatta has become poor because of his kindness, because of the act of charity. He has given away everything. He is empty now. You remember, charity is one of the greatest boon, okay, greatest act of human kindness, according to all the major religions. Now Charudatta has fallen because he was too virtuous. He has given away his wealth through these acts of kindness. He is empty now after quenching the thirst of needy men, and is a well-filled pool parched up in the summer season. So again, as use of simile, as is a well-filled pool. So he is a man who once upon a time was prosperous, but now he has become poor, just like a pool of water that has become dry in the summer season by relieving the thirst of the travelers. The travelers drink water, more water during the summer, and therefore the water of a well becomes empty. It becomes parched. Sakara impatiently, who is this fellow? The son of a slave wench? Is he that famous and valiant Swetaketu, the son of Pandu? Who is the son of Pandu? You remember 5 Pandavas? They were the son of Pandu. So in no way Swetaketu was the son of Pandu. Is he Ravana, born of Radha? Or is he Endradatta? Is he Ashwatthama, the son of brave Rama and Kunti? So throughout he is such a fool. He doesn't know anything about the contemporary myths. So he says, is he Ashwatthama, the son of brave Rama? Rama married Sita, and Lavkush were the children of Rama and Sita. But he is saying, is he Ashwatthama? Ashwatthama, the son of brave Rama and Kunti? Or is he the son of Dharma? So in our epic, Ramayana and the Mahabharata, we have such stories, different types of stories. And this Sakara, who has hardly read these works or is not very fond of remembering the plot of these works, confuses the characters, misapplies the characters. Is he Ravana, born of Radha? Or is he Indradatta? Or is he Ashwatthama, the son of brave Rama and Kunti? Full of confusion. So confusion, no type of solution is known to this person. Or is it the son of Dharma? That says, fool, really he is a noble. He is the noble Charudatta. So Vita also calls him a fool. Unto the needy, what type of character is Charudatta, external characterization of Charudatta by Vita. So unto the needy, he is a wish-yielding tree, bending low beneath his fruit-like virtues. So what type of person is he? He is like the tree, wish-fulfilling tree that bows down its branches in order to offer fruits. He is a helping kinsman to the virtuous. He is the mirror of the learned. He is the touchstone of the righteous conduct. He is an ocean that never transgresses its barrier of character, the doer of all good to all. He is never arrogant and is the treasure of all manly virtues. He is courteous and liberal. He alone is worthy of admiration. In the plenitude of his merits, he may be said to live indeed. Others merely breathe. External characterization of Charudatta. If a question comes on the character of Charudatta, these words of Vita will help us to frame the character of Charudatta. So Charudatta is an embodiment of greatest virtues on this earth. Other people compared to Charudatta simply live on this earth. But Charudatta, on the other hand, has a virtuous life. So Vita says, let us be gone. So throughout the play, we find this Vita offering his support to Charudatta, and later on we will see to Vasantasena. Sakara says, without taking hold of Vasantasena, how can we leave this place without taking hold of Vasantasena? Vita says, hey, Vasantasena has disappeared. Sakara says, how? Vita says, like the sight of the blind. Again, use of similes. These are called epic similes. In Milton's Paradise Lost, we find the use of epic similes. So one thing is compared to another thing is compared to another thing. Like this, series of comparisons are made. So how did Vasantasena disappear? So she disappeared like the sight of the blind, like the strength of the sick, like the wisdom of the blockhead, like the success of the indolent, like the supreme learning of the dull-witted, okay, and dissipated, and like the feelings of love to an enemy, so did she vanish when you crossed her path. So this is the literary quality of this text. So full of figurative language, devices are used, and such excellent descriptive power of Sudraka can be seen in this work, that this work remains a work of creative imagination, one of the best Sanskrit texts that ever was written. The brilliant use of language. Sakara says, I will not go hence until I recover her. Vita says, have you never heard this? An elephant may be held by the tying chain, a steed is curbed by reins, but a woman cannot be tied like that. A woman is won by heart, and if you have not won, you had better depart. So Vita gives a very good advice to Sakara. Says that you can tie a elephant with a chain, but a woman has to be won, not with a chain. She cannot be kept as a slave in custody, but you have to win a woman with your heart. And if you have won, not won, it is better to leave the place. So Sakara feels a bit inside. If you were doing, go alone. If you want to go away, go alone. I am not coming. So Vita says, very well, I am off, goes away. So Sakara stands there. Really, the master has disappeared. Now he addresses Maitre. You man with a carrot on the head, you mannequin, sit down, sit down. So Vidushaka and Sakara scene, very hilarious scene. So we have two characters. Vidushaka is a good friend, good person, who is related to Charudatta, and Sakara is a villain of this text. So Vidushaka, we have already been asked to take a seat. Sakara says, by whom? Vidushaka says, by destiny. Then stand up, stand up. Vidushaka says, we shall. When? Vidushaka is speaking in terms of allegory, symbol. When fate is again kind to us. Sakara says, hey, weep then, weep. We are already made to weep. So Sakara says, by whom? Vidushaka says, by poverty. Hey, laugh, then laugh. Vidushaka says, we shall laugh. Sakara says, when? So Vidushaka says, when the worthy Charudatta is again in prosperity. Sakara says, "Hey, wicked fellow, tell the beggar Charudatta is in my name thus. A person, a certain courtesan, lady named Vasantasena, of fair complexion and covered with gold and charming like an actress, busting in view in a new play, is very much attached to you ever since she went to the garden in the temple of Kamadeva. And she has entered your house when we tried to conciliate her by force. If you send her away yourself and hand over to me, then I shall be friends with you forever for restoring her to me easily without any lawsuit in court. But if you don't restore her, there shall be hatred between us to our death. Also remember. So he's giving warning to Charudatta, informing the Charudatta, you are that person with whom Vasantasena has fallen in love. Charudatta had gone to the temple of love, temple of Kamadeva. And in that garden, when Vasantasena saw Charudatta, she fell in love, instant love. So Charudatta is reminded of that. So if she comes to your house, if she takes shelter in your house, what you shall do? You shall put Vasantasena back to the king's palace and hand her over to Sakara. Otherwise, what will happen? There shall be hatred between us to our death. Also remember, a pumpkin whose stalk is smeared with cow dung, a dried vegetable, fried meat, rice cooked in wintry nights, these all do not get rotten by lapse of time. Tell him craftily and prettily. Tell this to him in such a way that I can hear, sitting as I am in the little pigeon house terrace of my mansion. If you tell this in any manner, otherwise I shall grind your head like a wood apple, fruit caught in the crack of a door. Wood apple, you understand, baleful. So I will grind your head like a wood apple fruit caught in the crack of a door. So Vidushaka says, okay, I shall tell him. Sakara aside. Cheta, is our friend really gone? Cheta says, exactly so. Sakara says, then let us quickly depart. Let my master take down his sword. Sakara says, let it remain in your hand. So Cheta says, here is the sword. Please take it, sir. Taking the sword by the wrong end. So Sakara is a man, he's a joker, basically, a villain joker, a comedian. So taking the sword by the wrong end. So he's full of confusion and mistakes throughout. So taking the sword by the wrong hand, how will it look on the stage? A person holding the sword on the wrong end. So, and then he boasts, like a jackal that is pursued by the yells of dogs and bitches, I go to my house, bearing on the shoulder the buckless sword, which is red like the radish and which now sleeps in his scythe. Both walk about and then they exit the stage. Vidushaka now talks to. So this is another episode. Another episode ends here. We now move on to another episode. Vidushaka and Radhanika, they are on the stage walking. My good Radhanika, this outrage done unto you must not be communicated to the respectable Charudatta. Please don't say about these to Charudatta. I am sure the sorrow of that poor man would only thereby be doubly increased. Radhanika says, good Maitri, I am indeed Radhanika. I can hold my tongue. As my name is Radhanika, definitely I can hold my tongue. I will not speak. Vidushaka, so be it. Now Charudatta. Charudatta is also in a state of meditation. So he is not seeing who is there at the back. So he thinks that Radhanika is still there in the house and Charudatta says, Radhanika, Rahanesha, who likes to enjoy the breeze, is suffering from the chillness of the eventide. Therefore, please take him inside the house and cover him with the mantle. Rahanesha is a child, so he must be in this winter, chilly winter, might have this cold. So please take him inside, cover him with mantle. So he gives her the mantle. Mantle means the shawl. So he gives her the mantle. So who is there at the back? So Vasantasena is there. Vasantasena to herself. How is it that he takes me to be his servant? So receiving the mantle and scenting his perfume ardently to herself. Oh, wonderful. Mantle is fragrant with jasmine. His youth thus not happier to be wholly indifferent. So now we have seen how the Singar Rasa gives its presence on the stage. So it is the Rati Bhava that has produced. Vasantasena, we have just now heard that in the temple of Kamdhenu, she has fallen in love with Charudatta. Now receiving the shawl from Charudatta, she smells it and then she to herself says these words, "Oh, wonderful! The mantle is fragrant with jasmine. His youth does not appear to be wholly indifferent to the pleasures of this world." And then she wraps it about her so as not to be observed. Charudatta says, "Well, Radhunika, take Rohan Sena and enter inside the house." Vasantasena to herself, "Yes, I have not the good fortune to enter here inside." Enter inside the house is metaphorically treated by Vasantasena. So I am not so lucky to get an entry into your heart. Charudatta says, "Why, Radhunika? Why do you not even answer me? Tell us, what a man attains by force of fate that condition, which is miserable because of the decay of his fortune, and even his friends become his enemies, and even they who were long attached to him become indifferent to him." So there is this confusion in Charudatta also. He doesn't understand why this Radhanika is behaving thus. Why is she not responding to his talk? And he is cursing his own fate, his own state of poverty for this, and says that even his friends become his enemies. Now he is approaching Radhanika. So again, mistaken identity is a device. He thinks that this is Radhanika. This Radhanika is not Radhanika. Rather, this Radhanika is outside. And instead, we have Vasantasena who has crept inside the house. Vidushaka says, "Sir, here is Radhanika." Okay. From outside, just Vidushaka has come. Says, "Sir, here is Radhanika." Charudatta says, "Here is Radhanika? Who is this other then? The unknown lady has been desecrated by contact with my mantle. Who is this person? Who is this woman? I have given her the shawl and she has wrapped the shawl on around her." Vasantasena to herself, "Say better consecrated, not desecrated. Desecrated means spoiled. Consecrated means purified." So she has put on the shawl and she says that she has been consecrated. Charudatta says, looking at Vasantasena, "She looks like a digit of the moon." Look at the description of Vasantasena by Charudatta. So we have often heard songs like "Chaudavi ka chand ho tum." Okay. Teri jheel si neeli aankhein. So these are the similes that are often used in songs. Here again we have the use of such similes. So how does Vasantasena look like for Charudatta? She looks like a digit of the moon. So Chaudavi ka chand. She looks like the Chaudavi ka chand that is hidden amidst the autumnal cloud. So this season is autumn and there is cloud and this moon is hiding behind the cloud, describing the shroud that she has put on, the shawl that she has put on. Or rather, it is not proper to gaze at another's wife. So Vidushaka says, "Oh, sir, so this is Chaudhary Chand who has put on ghumta on her face. So it is proper not to gaze at others' wife." Vidushaka says, "Oh, sir, you need not fear that you are looking at another's wife. This is Vasantasena, who has been in love with you ever since she saw you in the gardens of Kamadeva temple." So Vidushaka recognizes Vasantasena and informs Charudatta about this love. So this was the love at first sight. Vasantasena saw Charudatta. At the first sight, she fell in love with this Charudatta. she saw in you in the garden of Kamadeva temple. Charudatta says, indeed, this is Vasanta Sena. Now to himself, the love that she has created in me at the decline of my fortune subsides in my own body like the anger of a coward. So she has fallen in love with Charudatta, and Charudatta says that this is not a perfect time for her to fall in love with him because this is a stage of my poverty, decline of my fortunes. So it is not worthy. Vidushaka says, oh friend, the brother in law of the king says. Charudatta says, well, what does he say? Hidoshaka says, a certain courtesan's lady by name Vasantasena, who is of fair complexion and who is covered with gold upon gold, and who looks like the actress busting in view of a new play, is much attached to you ever since she saw you in the garden of Kamadeva's temple, and she has entered your house when we tried to conciliate her by force. Yes, we have just heard. This is what Sakara said to Vidushaka, Vasantasena now to herself, to conciliate, try to conciliate by force. It is true. I am really honored by these words. Vidushaka says, if you send her away yourself and hand over to me, then I shall be friend with you forever for restoring her to me. These were the words of Sakara. If Vasantasena is handed over to Sakara, then they will reconcile readily without a law suit in court. But if you don't restore her, there shall be hatred between us to our death. Charudatta, Charudatta becomes disdainful. Okay, uh, he is a fool. Now he speaks to himself. Ah, this maiden is worthy of the worship that we pay a goddess. Okay, so Charudatta is elevating this maiden to the stature of a goddess. For now, urged repeated to enter the house, she moves not in regard to the condition in which she is unfortunately born. Even though she can command a variety of speech, her intimacy with man, she does not talk boldly. Now aloud, Lady Vasanta Senam, I have unwittingly committed an offense, for I greeted as a servant one whom I did not recognize. I bend my head to ask your pardon. Vasantasena says, it is I that have offended your honor by intruding on your place, which is unworthy of me. I bow my head to ask your forgiveness. Vishaka says, your heads in bowing prettily meet together like a couple of rice fields. So if both of them bow down together and they resemble the corn that is bowing down because of its weight in cornfields. I too shall bow my head like a camel colt's knee and beseech you both to rise up. So, like a camel, he will also put his head inside and then put them up again. So, Charudatta says, be it so, let there be no further ceremony. So, let us not do all these formal ceremonies of exchange of greetings. So, Vasantasena to herself, this has put up very cleverly as well as beautifully. Considering how I came hither, it is not proper for me to remain here longer. Well, I will at least say this much. Now she's saying aloud. Worthy sir, if I am really fit to be obliged by your honor, I should be glad to leave these ornaments in your house. So it is dead at night. In the thick of night, if someone moves with such ornaments, there can be robbery. Thieves are there on the street. It also gives the picture of the contemporary society of Ujjain. So she says, I should be glad to leave these ornaments in your house, for it is for the sake of these ornaments that these villains pursue me. Because of the ornaments, these villains, Sakara and Vita, they were pursuing him. Charudatta says, this house is unsuited to such a trust. So because he's very poor, he says that this house is also not a proper place to keep your ornaments. So Vasantasena says, you mistake, sir. It is to men and not to houses that we deposits. that deposits are entrusted. Very interesting. But there is a tinge of irony in this conversation. Charudutta realizes that yes, this house is not protected enough, and therefore she should not keep the jewelry ornaments in this house. But Vasantasena says no. We usually trust people and then deposit our belonging to that person, not the house. Charudatta says, Maitri, let these ornaments be received. He gives order to Maitri to take the ornament and keep it protected. Vasantasena says, I am much obliged to you. She hands over to him ornaments. Vidushaka receiving this, may heaven bless you, madam. Charudatta says, this is but a trust. Okay, this is not kind of gift to you, but she has kept this as a trust. Vidushaka says, what if they should be stolen by thieves? If the thieves come and steal the jewelry? Charudatta says, in a very short time. Vidushaka says, what she has entrusted to us become ours. Charudatta says, I shall restore them. I shall go and return them. Vasantasena says, worthy sir, I desire to go to my house, accompanied by this gentleman. Maitri says, okay. Charudatta says, Maitri, accompany this worthy lady. Vidushaka says, she walks gracefully like a female swan. Description of Vasantasena. So her movement is swan-like. During that period, this movement of a swan was usually compared to the movement of the courtesans. She walks gracefully like a female swan. Accompanying her, you alone shall shine like a gay flamingo. So use of animal bird images in order to compare. So if you walk with this swan, her movement is so artistic, and if you walk alongside this swan, you will look like a flamingo. I am but a poor Brahman. Wherever I go, I shall fall a victim to the people, just as an offering that is carried to the crossroad will fall a prey to dogs. Everyone will chase me if I accompany this lady. Charudatta says, well, very well, I shall myself follow this worthy lady. Actually, Charudatta was waiting for an occasion to accompany this lady home. Vidushaka says, Vardhamanaka, light the torches. So Cheta, aside to Vidushaka, hey, light torches without any oil. Okay, let there be darkness. If you torch a light without oil, what will happen? It will remain dark. So Vidushaka aside to Charudatta. These torches of ours are like harlots who disregard lovers to no avail. They are without oil, that means love, and won't light up unless you feed them. Charudatta says, Maitri, very well, no need of torches. For see, okay, pale like the cheeks of a lovely maiden, the moon is lamp unto the royal road. Beautiful description of nature with reference to Vasantasena. So how is the environment, the location? Pale like the cheeks of a lovely maiden, the moon which is lamp unto the royal road rises along with its train of stars, and its white beams descend amidst the cloud of darkness, like streaming milk amidst mire from which water oozes out. Beautiful description of nature. This is called the imagery. Usually in literature, the poets have a tendency to create description with the help of words. Printed words are there only that we can see, and through these printed words, the images are imprinted on the minds of the readers. Here we have a beautiful nature imagery compared to the works of Kalidasa. Kalidasa was also a brilliant writer who could evoke, create, describe nature with the help of such wonderful alamkaras and imageries. Chitrakalpo. Imagery means Chitrakalpo. So with that Chitrakalpa and with such alamkara, the beautiful nature is described. Now with Sringar Rasa, with love, he says, approaches Vasantasena. Worthy Vasantasena, this is your ladyship's home. Pray, enter. Vasantasena gazes ardently at him, then exit. So Charudatta. Friend Vasantasena is gone. Come, let us go home. Continuous action. So the royal road is now lonely, and the watchmen alone are walking about. We must take care to avoid forestall, treachery, being deceived, for the night is full of crimes. So, walking about the street, and you shall guard this golden casket by night, Vardhamana and Vardhamana by day, very well. So, they both leave the stage. So, this is all in Act 1. So, interesting scene, so many action, okay, rapid fire action, full of action. That is what Prakarana is all about, almost like a Rohit Shetty movie. So, sequence of action, fast paced, moving. So, suspense is created through this. Okay, any question? I must stop now. If you have any question or observation. Did you enjoy this reading? Okay, thank you very much. I'm stopping recording. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, sir.